Welcome. Settle in. Let the day fade away. Imagine a land from long ago, where two great rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, wind through a wide and fertile plain. Their waters shimmer under the soft light of an endless sky. This is Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Tonight we will walk slowly through its past, step by step, with no hurry, just drifting, listening to a gentle story of the world's earliest people and their quiet lives. Long ago, when the world was still young, this land was a soft, shimmering expanse of green marshes and golden fields. The rivers carried rich soil, washing down from distant mountains, leaving fertile earth where farmers could grow barley, wheat, and lentils. The breeze was warm and gentle, carrying the scent of wet clay and wild reeds, swaying softly at the water's edge. Small fishing boats glided silently across calm streams. Cattle and goats moved slowly near the riverbanks, their bells chiming faintly in the still air. Villages began to rise, simple clusters of clay brick houses with flat roofs, where families gathered as the sun sank into a soft orange haze. Smoke curled lazily from small hearths as bread baked in open ovens. Somewhere, a child's laughter drifted across the evening breeze, mixing with the distant cooing of doves. The world was simple then, calm, untouched by the rush of modern time. The rivers brought more than water. They carried the promise of life and of stories. As you listen, imagine the cool ripples flowing gently, the soft crunch of silt beneath bare feet, and the whisper of reeds swaying in the night wind. The people of this land, thousands of years ago, lived in harmony with these waters, and under the quiet watch of ancient stars that still shine over us tonight. Let us stay here for a while, watching the slow turn of twilight over Mesopotamia. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, just drifting back through time, as the first lamps flicker in ancient homes, casting warm light on mud brick walls. The day has ended, and a calm stillness settles across the land, a perfect place to begin our story. As the night deepens, we drift gently forward in time. The small riverside villages of Mesopotamia begin to grow, little by little, like tiny lights scattered across the fertile land. At first, they are only clusters of mud brick homes, simple shelters for farming families. But slowly, quietly, these villages become towns, and the towns grow into the first true cities the world has ever known. Imagine one of these ancient settlements from above. The river curves softly nearby, glinting under the moonlight. The houses sit close together, flat-roofed and square, their walls built of clay mixed with straw and dried under the warm sun. Between them, narrow pathways wind like soft ribbons of earth. There are no loud carts, no rushing footsteps, only the calm shuffle of people returning home as the evening cools the desert air. The first marketplaces appear in the center of town, where traders speak in hushed tones, exchanging sacks of barley, baskets of dates, and tiny clay jars of fragrant oil. A few small lamps glow faintly on wooden stands, casting trembling halos of light, making every shadow seem slow and dreamlike. Nearby, a potter spins a clay vessel on a simple wheel, his hands moving steadily, rhythmically, shaping the earth into something useful. The sound of clay being worked is soft, like the muted patter of rain. Some of these early towns grow walls, not to keep people out, but to mark a sense of belonging. Inside these walls, life is simple yet strangely timeless. Families share quiet meals on reed mats, their conversations low and unhurried. Children play with small clay figurines, shaped like animals they see each day: cattle, goats, and ducks, while elders tell slow, wandering stories about the river spirits and the stars. In the distance, taller structures rise, ziggurats, step temples that reach toward the sky like giant stairways for the gods. But for now, they are only outlines in the dark, waiting to be explored later in our journey. Tonight the focus is on the quiet birth of human community, small fires glowing, soft murmurs of life, and the calm feeling of belonging to a place. The wind drifts through narrow streets, carrying the faint scent of baked bread and river mud. Somewhere a lone dog pads softly through the night, its paws leaving faint marks on the sandy paths. And above it all, the stars glitter like 1,000 tiny lamps, watching over the first cities of humankind. Everything is still. Everything feels safe. Time itself seems to be breathing slowly, just like you. Now, let us walk softly through the quiet rhythms of daily life in ancient Mesopotamia. The first light of dawn drifts across the plains, painting the mud brick walls of the village in shades of pale gold. Farmers rise early, long before the heat of the day, moving slowly toward their fields with simple tools of wood and bronze, their sandals pressing lightly into the cool earth. The land enriched by the rivers blooms with barley, wheat, lentils, and flax. Canals glimmer softly, carrying water through fields like silver threads. The air is calm, filled with the gentle hum of early morning, the croak of frogs along the riverbanks, and the occasional whisper of reeds swaying in the breeze. There are no loud machines, no sharp sounds, only the slow, steady rhythm of life at its simplest. Farmers bend to plant seeds, scattering them carefully by hand, while others guide cattle to pull wooden plows. The sound of hooves pressing into soft soil echoes faintly in the distance. Children walk with baskets, carrying figs or dates for a light breakfast under the shade of acacia trees. Even in their work, there is a sense of peace, a sense that the land is generous, and time is not to be rushed. By midday, the marketplace begins to stir. Merchants arrive with quiet greetings, leading donkeys loaded with goods. Some carry fine reeds for weaving mats, others jars of oil or fragrant herbs tied in small bundles. The hum of barter is soft and slow, trades made not in haste but in conversation, as people linger to talk about the river, the weather, or the latest stories from distant towns. Inside the homes, meals are prepared slowly. Freshly baked bread rests beside bowls of lentil stew, olives, and honey. Clay jugs of cool water stand on low wooden tables. A soft fire crackles in the hearth as smoke curls gently upward, leaving a faint aroma of warmth and comfort. As evening draws near, the farmers return from the fields, walking beside the rivers as the sky glows orange, then purple. Merchants close their stalls, arranging their wares for the next day. And once again, the soft hum of Mesopotamian life fades into the gentle stillness of night, where only the rivers speak, whispering their endless song beneath the stars. Now, as the evening deepens, our steps lead us to the sacred heart of Mesopotamian life, the temples and the quiet rituals performed in their shadow. These were not just places of worship, but sanctuaries of calm, knowledge, and soft reverence. In the center of the city, rising like a stairway to the heavens, stands the ziggurat, a tiered structure of sun-baked brick, glowing softly in the light of dusk. Each step is broad and slow, leading upward to a small shrine, where offerings are placed for the gods. The air is hushed here, touched by the scent of burning incense, sandalwood, and fresh flowers laid gently at stone altars. Priests move in quiet procession, their linen robes whispering against the floor. Some carry small clay tablets inscribed with careful prayers, Others bring bowls of grain, honey, or oil, gifts for the deities who watch over the rivers and fields. Bells ring softly from the temple towers, not in sharp tones, but with slow, lingering notes that drift across the night air like distant wind chimes. Inside, the temple is lit by small oil lamps. Their golden flames flicker softly, casting long, swaying shadows on carved walls. Depictions of winged guardians, river spirits, and stars. The hum of low chanting rises and falls like waves, soothing and rhythmic, almost like a lullaby. No sudden sounds disturb the air. Everything feels still, as though time has paused to listen. Beyond the rituals, the temple serves another purpose. It keeps the city's first written records. Here, scribes sit silently at low wooden tables, pressing reed styluses into soft clay to record trade agreements, prayers, and astronomical observations. The only sound is the faint scratch of reeds against wet clay, soft and measured, like the quiet tick of a distant clock. When the rituals end, the priests pour water over the steps of the ziggurat, letting it trickle down softly, carrying blessings to the earth below. The lamps are dimmed, one by one, and the temple settles into a peaceful stillness. Outside, the city sleeps, under a deep blue sky, the stars glittering like ancient symbols above the land of rivers and dreams. And so, life in Mesopotamia flows gently, between the sacred and the simple, between the soft hum of daily work and the calm devotion to the gods who watch silently from above. As we move deeper into the gentle night of ancient Mesopotamia, let us pause at a quiet corner of history where the first words were written. Not on paper, not with ink, but with soft scratches pressed carefully into wet clay. Picture a small dimly lit room within the temple, a scribe's chamber, silent except for the faint glow of oil lamps and the soft rustle of linen robes. Here, the world's first writers bend over smooth clay tablets, holding thin reed styluses between the fingers. Their hands move slowly, with a calm precision, pressing wedge-shaped symbols into the clay. This script, cuneiform, is young, new, yet already ancient, and each mark holds meaning. Grain delivered, prayers whispered, or stars mapped across the sky. The air smells faintly of earth and oil. A soft breeze drifts through a narrow window, carrying the quiet sounds of the city beyond. A donkey's distant bray, the low murmur of merchants closing their stalls, the gentle ripple of river water. But inside there is only focus and calm, writing not for speed but for permanence, as though each mark were a small echo meant to last through time. The scribes are careful, steady. Some are young apprentices, learning the slow art of pressing symbols without smudging the clay. Others are older, their hands worn but steady, shaping words that will survive for thousands of years, waiting to be read in the distant future, by us tonight. When a tablet is finished, it is laid gently on a low shelf to dry, hardening in the warm air. Some will be baked in kilns for strength, their messages preserved for eternity. Others will remain soft, fading slowly back to dust, like whispers returning to silence. Beyond trade records and temple inventories, writing begins to capture something more. Stories, myths, and poems. Tales of heroes, of distant lands, of gods walking among men. But for now, in this early age, the marks are simple, quiet, and practical, yet filled with a strange beauty. Imagine running your fingers lightly across the grooves of one of these tablets, feeling the small impressions made thousands of years ago. Still clear, still precise. The room around you grows dimmer, the lamps burning lower, and the scribes begin to rise, stretching their backs, whispering goodnight to one another. Their day has ended, but their words will outlast them, sleeping silently in clay. Now we arrive at night, deep and calm, where the world of Mesopotamia settles into its softest hours. The city lies quiet under a dome of stars, the twin rivers glistening like silver ribbons under the pale moonlight. Gentle breezes carry the faint scent of wet clay and distant flowers from small gardens near the water's edge. The hum of daily life has faded into silence, replaced by the soft, natural sounds of a sleeping world. Rippling currents, the quiet chirp of night insects, and the occasional soft call of an owl perched near the walls of a temple. In the small houses, families rest on low beds of woven reeds, covered in light cloth, their dreams filled with the rhythm of life around them, the slow pulse of the rivers, the whisper of wind across the plains, the distant memory of chants echoing from the ziggurat earlier in the evening. Somewhere in the marketplace, a few merchants sit beneath the stars, speaking softly by the dying glow of an oil lamp, their voices no louder than the rustle of leaves. A pair of donkeys stand nearby, eyes half closed, tails swaying gently against the cool night air. Across the rooftops, the city feels like a quilt of shadow and starlight. Some homes keep a single lamp glowing, its warm light spilling out into the street below. Others are dark, resting completely under the silver glow of the moon. Far out in the fields, farmers sleep under open skies, wrapped in simple cloths, while their cattle lie close, breathing steadily. The soft murmur of water trickling through irrigation channels is the only sound, a steady lullaby played by the land itself. From the highest terrace of the ziggurat, the city looks like a constellation of its own, small flickering points of light scattered across the earth. The priests watch quietly for a while, noting the position of stars, then extinguish the last flames in the temple and descend slowly into the shadows. And then, true stillness. No voices, no footsteps, only the timeless night. Imagine lying there now, beside the slow rivers, feeling the cool air and hearing the distant ripple of water over smooth stones. Above you, the same stars that shone over Mesopotamia thousands of years ago sparkle softly, casting a faint silver glow across the ancient land. This is how the first cities slept, not with noise, not with haste, but in peace, the kind of peace that carries you softly toward dreams, as though the rivers themselves are whispering you to sleep. And now, our journey through ancient Mesopotamia draws to a close, but not with haste. We linger here a little longer, watching as the last lamps go out and the world becomes perfectly still. The rivers continue their endless flow, soft and silver under the moon, carrying stories of the past along their winding paths. The fields rest, the clay tablets lie drying in quiet rooms, and the ziggurat stands like a sleeping mountain, watching over the city in silence. You have walked through the dawn of villages, seen the first marketplaces glow with soft light, felt the calm rhythm of life as farmers and merchants went about their gentle work. You have stood within sacred temples, breathing the faint scent of incense, and watched scribes carve words that would last for thousands of years. And now you are here, beneath a starlit sky, where everything sleeps. Feel the quiet of this ancient world as it seeps into your own thoughts, the slow hum of history, the gentle weight of time, all softening into stillness. You are safe here, cradled by the calm of a civilization that once dreamed beneath the same stars you see tonight. Let the rivers guide you further, into a slower breath, into a softer mind, into a place where history becomes dream. Soon the sounds of the night will fade, replaced by the silence of sleep, a silence as old as Mesopotamia itself. And as you drift, remember, time moves gently here. There is no hurry, no end, only the endless peace of a world long gone, still whispering its calm through the ages and into your dreams. Good night, and sleep well, beneath the stars of ancient Mesopotamia.